Don't forget to like and subscribe for more incredible stories.
Nelson Mandela was born in a small village in South Africa in 1918. He grew up in a time of segregation and injustice. Black South Africans were treated as second-class citizens.
Mandela excelled in school and studied law at the University of Fort Hare. There, he developed his political consciousness. Expelled for participating in a student protest, his commitment to justice grew.
Mandela moved to Johannesburg and witnessed the brutal realities of apartheid. He knew he had to dedicate his life to dismantling this oppressive system. In Johannesburg, Mandela joined the African National Congress, or ANC. The ANC was at the forefront of the struggle against apartheid. Mandela quickly rose through the ranks. He became a prominent leader, known for his charisma and strategic thinking.
The ANC initially focused on peaceful protests and civil disobedience. They organized boycotts, demonstrations, and strikes. Mandela played a key role in mobilizing the people. He inspired them with his powerful speeches and unwavering determination.
However, the South African government responded to these peaceful protests with violence and repression. The government banned the ANC and other anti-apartheid organizations. Many activists, including Mandela, were arrested and imprisoned. Despite the government's crackdown, Mandela and the ANC remained resolute. They realized that they needed to adopt new tactics to fight the apartheid regime. Faced with increasing state violence, Mandela and the ANC formed Umkhonto we Sizwe. This was the ANC's armed wing. They believed that armed struggle was necessary to dismantle apartheid. Mandela played a key role in organizing acts of sabotage against government installations. He traveled abroad seeking support from other nations. He wanted to put pressure on the South African government. Mandela's actions made him a target of the South African government. He was constantly on the run, living in hiding. But his commitment to the cause never wavered. He knew the risks, but he also knew the price of freedom. In 1964, Mandela and several other ANC leaders were arrested. They were charged with sabotage and other crimes against the state. The trial of Nelson Mandela and his comrades became a global event. The world watched as Mandela and his co-defendants were sentenced to life imprisonment. Mandela was sent to the notorious Robben Island prison. Despite his imprisonment, Mandela's spirit remained unbroken. He continued to resist apartheid from behind bars. He became a symbol of hope for millions of South Africans. He was an international icon. People around the world called for his release and an end to apartheid. Section 5. Walk to Freedom. After spending 27 years in prison, Nelson Mandela was released in 1990. His release was a momentous occasion not just for South Africa, but for the world. Mandela emerged from prison as a symbol of hope and forgiveness. He immediately called for peace and reconciliation.
He urged his followers to lay down their arms and work together to build a new South Africa.
Mandela played a pivotal role in the negotiations with the South African government. These talks led to the dismantling of apartheid. He showed remarkable patience and pragmatism during these talks. He knew that compromise was necessary to achieve a peaceful transition to a democratic South Africa. In 1994, South Africa held its first free and fair elections. The ANC won a landslide victory. Section 6. Leading a Nation. Nelson Mandela became the first black president of South Africa. He led with the same dignity and determination he had shown throughout his life. He knew that healing the wounds of the past was essential. He worked tirelessly to build a multiracial democracy. Mandela's presidency was marked by a spirit of forgiveness and reconciliation. He established the Truth and Reconciliation Commission. This commission investigated the human rights violations committed under apartheid. It gave victims a platform to share their stories. Perpetrators could confess their crimes and seek amnesty. Mandela believed that confronting the past was necessary for South Africa to move forward. He knew that true reconciliation could only be achieved through understanding and forgiveness. He championed policies to address the social and economic inequalities that plagued South Africa. He focused on education, healthcare and housing. Section 7. Reconciliation and Forgiveness. Mandela's vision of a rainbow nation resonated deeply with South Africans. He envisioned a nation where people of all races lived together in harmony. His message of forgiveness and reconciliation inspired the world. The Truth and Reconciliation Commission played a significant role in healing the divisions of the past. It provided a platform for victims to share their stories and confront their oppressors. The Commission's work contributed to the peaceful transition to democracy in South Africa.
Mandela's commitment to forgiveness was not always easy to understand. Some argued that perpetrators of apartheid should face justice in the courts. But Mandela believed that true reconciliation required more than punishment. It required understanding, empathy, and a willingness to forgive.
Mandela's approach to reconciliation has been praised as a model for other countries emerging from conflict. His legacy continues to inspire peacemakers and human rights activists around the world. Section 8. A Legacy of Hope. Nelson Mandela retired from politics in 1999. He remained a global icon, advocating for peace, social justice and education. He established the Nelson Mandela Foundation to continue his work. Mandela's legacy is one of courage, resilience, and an unwavering commitment to justice. He taught the world that even in the darkest of times, hope can triumph over despair. He showed that one person can make a difference. Mandela's life and work continue to inspire people around the world to fight for what is right. He reminded us that the pursuit of justice requires patience, perseverance, and an unwavering belief in the human spirit. His legacy will continue to shape the world for generations to come. He will forever be remembered as one of the greatest leaders of our time.